Here's one of the more fascinating features of building an airplane. 10.5 inches back from here is where this spar, I believe this would be called, goes right here. And the manual shows, in both the 96 and 98 versions, shows the rib going from here back to here. However, when I cut out the rib, it doesn't show it going from here to here. It's fit with these bumps as though it would go from here all the way back there. And this piece here, which also intersects at this 10.5 inch line back setback point from here, has these bumps in it here, so it fits in the winglet, although you can't really glue it to this part, so it's going to have to be cut off somewhere here. And lately Lancair has been putting the fuel probe and the in this end of the wing, so this piece would run almost into the fuel probe, and you have to think about if it's a problem to have the electrical lines on which side. Do you need to have holes that come through? And so you got to think about all of that. I'm gonna decide to actually cut this down and put it in here as the manual shows, not as the blueprints have you cut out the part. One of the reasons is that you'll be able to have access to parts in here, presumably, without this thing going in front of it. And this thing should offer some stiffness, so you might not need it from this end. And then I need to decide on installing this vent line. There's going to be a couple of ways to do it. Actually, there's going to be a bunch of ways to do it. This Stratoflex or AeroQuip 306, which is listed in the manual as, I believe, 193-6. They show using that, and we can use fitting here using a Stratoflex, one of these Stratoflex fittings, and then somehow wrap it around in this wing part here and attach it to here. And the advantage of using this stuff, although you have to search pretty diligently on the web to determine that this stuff is okay in contact with petroleum products. And in doing that, you would get to keep this check valve, which is not normally used for the winglet, but it's used for the short wing to keep the fuel from leaking out. But I'd like to use it. Now the manual would show for just the winglet that this is just a tube coming out, and you would attach this to the tube here and this to this tube and put a couple aviation alligator type clamps. However, I'm noticing that this tube that's sticking out of here is not 1/4 inch like it has been in the plans. So this wing was fast built in the factory. So cutting that off is not so much of an option. And although here's another idea, you can use this part of this Stratoflex fitting and put the Tygon tubing on this. You can actually screw it up on it. I've had it further. Then use the aviation clamp on that. Wrap this around and and attach it to here with another aviation clamp. So they show using the Tygon tubing originally with the original plan, so I don't have a problem using that and having it used in this application. So I need to think about what, when you take this winglet off to service some of these parts and electrical connections, you need enough hose to, when you take the winglet off, that it comes out and you can detach it. But have to keep in mind that there's gonna, you'll have to stick your hand in here and be able to unscrew the aviation clamp, or somehow probably you would have easy access to this fitting here, so you could take that off. And I also want to keep in mind, well, what if you ever did have to replace this hose, which is going to be the easier way to do it, to use this or the low pressure 193-6 hose. So I'm going to be thinking about those things and having to make my mind up about that in a minute.